it's Jessica. Welcome and welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel / podcast where I discuss all things style, wellness, pop culture, and whatever else comes up from week to week. Are here. I am a couple days late, but I'm still on track for my yearly goal. I have been considering maybe I should just come up with a different day to publish that works better with my schedule. I still haven't landed on that, and I just feel like I will get analysis paralysis. So I'm gonna just put this out when I feel capable of putting it out, as long as it's within the week that it's supposed to be put out. You know what I'm saying? So let's kick everything off with our fashion segment as per usual. I want to talk about a classic fashion piece that has gotten many a bad bitch through many a bad bitch era, and that is the bandage dress. Okay, there's been a lot of chatter about the bandage dress and the resurgence being a, quote unquote recession indicator. I just read an article that was absolutely riddled with shade about what exactly this means or what this says about women and our relationships to our bodies. So let me just say this. So the bandage dress was actually created by Azzedine Alaïa. It was supposed to mimic like mummification, right? And it was all the rage. However, Hervé Leger popularized the bandage dress a few years after that. And it was the thing for it girls of the time. Azzedine Alaïa created it as a response almost to the exaggerated shoulder pads and the very voluminous things that were popular for women during the 80s. This was supposed to be, he was called the king of clean. This was supposed to be very body conscious, very form fitting. It's supposed to hold you in and like hold a woman very tight. And people, commented on how uncomfortable the actual like Hervé Leger dresses are or were because of the material. And what does it say about women that we want to shove ourselves into these dresses that don't fit and blah, blah, blah. Baby, speak for yourself, okay? I got my first bandage dress from BB, okay? I got my second bandage dress from French Connection. I was in my early 20s, and what I'm reading about in this article is it was a way for women in the 80s to show off how hard they had worked in their aerobics classes. And for me, a millennial, an elder millennial, it was a way for us to show off our curves. Like, we, especially being from Atlanta, baby, we always embraced our curves. This is one of the in our thimble full of privilege as Black Americans. We love a fat ass in the South, honey. So that wasn't a thing for us. You might have been putting on some Spanx to make things, to suck everything in. And we can have a conversation about what that means and what that looks like another day. But let's not presume that every girl who puts on a bandage dress is trying to highlight how skinny she is. And skinny is such a relative term. Again, we might need to have a separate conversation about that, but I don't love the idea that since the resurgence, and let me say, I feel like I'm an early adopter to the resurgence, because I finally, for my 35th birthday, 35th or 36th birthday, I was gifted an Hervé Leger dress. That doesn't matter, but I absolutely loved it. I still love it. Probably gonna wear it at some point this year. I wanted to buy it for the 20-something-year-old that I was, who was poor and couldn't afford to buy what the it girls could afford to buy, because I graduated from Georgia Southern in a recession. I could barely find a job. There was just no way in hell that I was going to be able to afford an Hervé Leger dress unless I was willing to do something strange for a little piece of change, which I really never was. But we are still in huge support of the sex workers over here. I just never felt like it was for me. Okay, so this writer is saying, or asking the question, again, what does it say about women's relationships to our bodies that this is now a trend again. And this is why it's so important to always wear what you want to wear, and to always be sure about what you want to communicate to yourself about yourself with your clothes. Because again, I just think that that's a bit presumptuous to think that, oh, because thin is in, and oh, because of the Ozempic, of course these dresses are back. Baby, everybody ain't out here trying to be real thin. Everybody's not out here doing that. Not everybody is ashamed of the curves of their bodies. And I do understand that there is a correlation between thinness for women and conservatism, and that should alarm us all, absolutely. But when it comes to style, not everybody is trying to do what you think that everybody is trying to do. I just found that lacking cultural relevance to me. And there's a quote in the article where she talks about, I think it's Cindy Crawford was taught, or Linda Evangelista was saying how uncomfortable the dresses were. My dress wasn't uncomfortable for me. I don't know if they've updated the fabrications or what, but I wasn't uncomfortable. And even when I work with styling clients, I always tell them, don't buy things that don't fit. And when I say fit, I don't mean just because you can get in it. That does not a fit make. Can you move around in it? Can you inhale and exhale deeply in it? Can you squat? Can you move? These are things that are important for us to consider, especially when we talk about body positivity. A huge part of treating your body well is putting it in things that feel good. So even, for my clients who are more visible, babe, if you want to put on some Spanx just to smooth everything out so that you can feel more comfortable on camera, I am all for it. But if the only way you can fit into this garment is if we stuff you into, we ain't putting 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag. It's still sugar, but it needs to go where it belongs. We're not doing it. So if the girls want to wear bandage dresses, let the girls wear bandage dresses. It doesn't have, from an observational perspective, yes, let's think about these things, but also, have y'all looked outside? The world is ending, baby. Let the girls have fun. If you want to, shit, it's your body. Even if you want to stuff it all in to some shit that don't work, go for it. It's yours. This could all end right now. Who gives a shit? Ugh, I think that writer rubbed me the wrong way. I ain't like it. Okay, so that's it for our fashion segment. I am going to be discussing some updates about the new job, some considerations when we talk about healing and whatnot, and a couple of other things. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Before I begin, I can't stop thinking about this meal that I just had. I went to a little contemporary African American or African diaspora museum over by BAM and stumbled upon a vibe. There were still Juneteenth celebrations going on. I said, hey, but I was starving. So I walked up a bit and I tried out this new udon restaurant. And y'all know I love a noodle and I love a soup. I love a noodle soup. Okay, when those two powers combine, you can give me pho, give me ramen, give me the things. I actually tried udon without broth, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, because I just kept feeling like, why would you give me noodles without sauce, without broth? I don't think I'm gonna like this. But it was like a ribeye, cooked and seasoned to perfection. The noodles were perfectly like firm and soft. There was spinach, there were scallions. I will be back. It was delicious. I haven't stopped thinking about it. And y'all know how much I love a ribeye. But a lot of times, if I go to a restaurant, I can't eat a whole ribeye by myself. And if I take it home, it's really not going to get eaten, because to reheat a steak, I can't be bothered with all of that. So that the ribeye portion was doable for me, a joy. I can't stop thinking about it. There's a chance I'm gonna go back there tomorrow, and I don't want to be judged, okay? Anywho, guys, as I am dipping my toe into the dating pool, which we know is filled with fecal matter, medical waste, um, and old Beanie Babies that people threw out, missing body parts, all kinds of things, disposed weapons, all kind of shit is in the dating pool. I went into this thinking that I am so healed, I am so evolved, I am so apprehensively ready. In the last episode, I was talking about the fact that I was just like, I ain't ready for this. I don't want to be bothered. Now I feel like I'm interested in someone and I am afraid to trust it, building upon our last episode, right? And I thought that I was a little bit further along in my journey from being an anxiously attached person to being more secure. You don't know what you're capable of. You don't know where you are in your healing, in your journey, in your evolution until you are tested. And I am being tested. I'm being tested. One of the things about He Who Shall Remain Nameless, I don't think I've ever said that man's name on this podcast, and we never will. One of the things that I recognized that I wanted in a partner after the ending of that relationship is that I wanted to be with someone who had boundaries. Because if you date a person who has no boundaries, it gives you a false sense of security and it actually becomes quite manipulative. I'm going to just leave it at that. So to be presented with a person who does seem to be self-aware and practices, mental health and has boundaries, it's like, oh, can you handle dating or getting to know a person who is not going to be constantly in your phone? And I'm recognizing that I still have work to do in terms of emotional permanence. I am one of those people that I need to be reassured that you still like me. I'm working on it in therapy, y'all. I just had an EMDR session today. I'm working on it. I don't want to say that I need to be validated, but I do like to be reassured that you still are interested, that you still want to be here. But I don't want to be codependent, and I don't want to be someone who is that insecure. And that's something that I have to work through. Is like, if you date someone who is, or if you get into full partnership with a person who is more secure than you, can you handle that? And that's kind of what I'm being confronted with. So I may or may not keep y'all posted. If I don't say nothing about it, don't ask me nothing about it. That's our agreement as social media content friends. If I don't say nothing, don't ask nothing. Okay? Just gonna leave it at that. I'm doing my best. I am being challenged. I'm being tested. I'm learning what I'm capable of. And I'm doing the same thing at my job. Things are about to pick up, I'm pretty sure, because some staffing changes have happened. I'm a little bit nervous, and the only way that I'm going to be able to prove to myself that I'm capable is if I'm tested. So I feel like my life is just very much kind of in a transitional period. Like, I don't feel completely settled in any space. I'm learning new financial practices. I'm learning new self-care practices. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I'm getting back into running, which is probably the reason why we got braids, so that I don't have to worry about hair, to go for runs, to go to work, to make content. It's just a little bit easier in the summer because it got hot immediately, okay? In New York. It's hot and it's humid, and I can't have all that hair on my head just flowing freely. I can't do it. So I thought that when I started back running, that I was going to have a long ways to go from where I left off, but I'm actually doing better than I thought. And I'm hopeful that that will be the theme. That my theme is, hey, you are not exactly where you want to be in these spaces, but you are further along than you realize. Even in the situation with this potential person, I did recognize that instead of trying to go with the flow, quote unquote, trying to be like the cool girl who doesn't need anything, which I've never successfully done, okay? When I felt like things were changing for me, or my investment was going to be different, I communicated that and did everything that I could to detach from the outcome. So I'm proud of myself for that. I also did not do the thing that some anxiously attached people do, which is like protest behavior, where you start to tell yourself a story about a person potentially abandoning you, and you start doing passive aggressive things, you subtweet, you do, it's a whole slew of very unproductive things that I used to do like in my 20s. I've gotten much better with that. So I didn't do that. I was just honest and upfront. And I was like, baby, you got better stuff to do. You need to clean your house. You need to clean your makeup brushes. You need to try this new foundation. You need to go and do something and continue celebrating Juneteenth. Like, we can't sit here and pontificate about our fears and anxieties with something we don't even know what it's going to be. So there is some growth. There is some development, some improvement, and we just want to keep that trajectory going. So yeah, pray for me. And another thing too, I'm considering that maybe a slow burn isn't so bad. I will say that when I went to hang out with this person, I typically feel very anxious. Even when I go hang out with friends, I have this, we all got abandonment issues to some degree. I have this fear when I go hang out with my friends that they are going to stand me up, or that they don't actually really want to hang out with me. And this is not based on any present day experience with them. It's just a core fear, anxiety that I have to continue to do the work to get over. But I will say that when I met up with him, I did not feel that anxiety. I didn't feel fireworks. I felt very calm. And that's actually really nice, to not feel so stirred up, so triggered, so afraid. It's nice to just feel calm in someone else's presence, because I'm managing my own expectations and whatnot. So again, there's some growth here. Last episode, we talked a bit about how healing makes you a little bit less ambitious, and I want to build upon that. I have worked for very ultra wealthy people, and I have worked for rich people. Money can buy you comfort, and comfort can make you happy, but an excess of money, from what I have observed, just makes you miserable. Even when we talk about, like, as women, as cishet women, when we think about our dream partner, for so many of us, it's, I want someone who makes more money than me. Having been with a couple of guys who made way more money than me, I don't care as much about that as I care about whether or not you are generous and kind, and also that you manage your money really well. Because no matter how much money I make, I still have to build the skills and the tools to learn how to manage it better. So if I have a partner that makes less than me but manages what they make really well, and they are generous with me, they don't expect me to carry the load myself or anything like that, I think that I could be fine being with being with a man who makes like an average salary, you know what I mean? Or who makes just as, or a little bit less than me, if the skill set is there. That just isn't as important for me, because the men who I have dated who made a whole lot more than me, men who I encounter in the world who make a whole lot more than their partners, they're not generous and they're not kind. Their only definition of success is money and more money and more money. That is a very empty existence. You have to find something else to live for. You cannot live for work. I'm so sorry. Like, you can, even if you are a person who just at your core, you are ambitious and it's in your wheelhouse of joy to make money, great, but you have to have something else. Like, I'm oftentimes like baffled by the con that capitalism can sometimes be, because so many of us are working towards what these people have. And when you're in close proximity to them, you realize that they don't enjoy any of the shit that they have. They have these really nice homes that, oh, it could be better, it could be bigger. I wish it were this. There's no gratitude or awareness of the present, of how fortunate they are to have so much of what so many people are fighting tooth and nail for. And it's fascinating that folks are chasing that life. And I'm telling you, being very close to it, it ain't it. It's really not it. So I always want to encourage anyone who engages with my content in any regard. Please learn to define success on your own terms so that you are not out in the world miserable and almost incapable of handling small inconveniences because you're just such an unstable person. You navigate the world frustration first, always completely unsatisfied. Find things in life that give you satisfaction. That's, to me, there's a correlation between success and satisfaction. What satisfies you, what feeds you, what gets you up in the morning. And if money is the only thing, you are in for a ride. Okay. I will tell you something that I truly enjoy doing, which does take money, to be fair. I love a fine dining experience. I would love to be able to go to any restaurant that I want to go to and pay for it, like pay for my dinner and not worry about how much it was or anything like that. Have zero anxiety about it. I want to be able to take my friends and family to nice restaurants and be able to pay for everyone and not worry about it and know that all my bills are on auto pay. This ain't gonna break me. I don't have to worry about anything. Like, that is a definition of success. Waking up early to do absolutely nothing, that is a definition of success for me. Like, I have become a person who is an early riser, and I get up really early now because I don't want my entire day to just be about work. I want work, like my day job, to be the absolute smallest part of my day, the absolute smallest part of my life. So if I wake up earlier, I get a little bit more time in my apartment, a little bit more time to myself, to work out, to eat, to journal, to have coffee. I might just get up and have coffee and rewatch an old episode of Trixie and Katya because it makes me really happy. I want to be able to do that without the impending doom of having to go to work. I want to have slow mornings and a rest of the day that I get to look forward to as opposed to one that I begrudgingly partake in. Does that make sense? That's just what I'm thinking about. We are gearing up for the new season of Gilded Age. Come back here. I will be reviewing it. We will be talking about it. I have a couple of exciting podcast guests coming up. I am so thrilled to introduce these people to you, my audience. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for sticking with me and listening to me yap. Which is one of the joys of my life. I love to yap. So I will keep you guys posted on the things. Be sure to follow and subscribe and rate and review and share and comment and join the Patreon. Add to my ability to go out to really nice restaurants because it just makes me happy, okay? I love food. It doesn't even have to be like a Michelin star restaurant. I just like good food. I don't really care where it comes from, okay? Anywho, talk to you guys soon. Bye.